Good afternoon. My name is Ann Weirheim. I'm going to be presenting our most recent Apex 30-minute Thursday. Today, we're going to be discussing getting the most from Workspaces. Just a little bit about Apex. We're a division of ASGN, serving 300 of the Fortune 500 in all major industries. Our solutions are highly scalable and deliverable nationally with over 180 unique IT skill sets in over 70 branch locations across the US, Europe, Mexico, and India. Specifically, our Infor practice has experience in more than just healthcare to serve many Infor clients as well as those using Epic, Cerner, and Kronos. As the second largest IT staffing service provider, we can fill just about any role. Most of all, our Infor practice works with clients beyond the cloud, offering the right services at the right time. Before the project, our advisory services guide the client through the selection process and assess organizational readiness through BPA and process design. We offer program governance and change management services to start clients off on the right foot for their implementation. During the project, we offer prescriptive guidance to reduce risk, duration, and cost. After the project, we offer managed services to help the client sustain their investment through on-demand service, staff augmentation, and incident support to be your partner before, during, and after the project. Okay, so as I said, my name's Ann Weirheim. I am the practice director here, functional practice director here at Apex, and I oversee supply chain finance and HCM. I have a passion for supply chain, so I get pretty excited about being able to speak to anything related to that. But this functionality today does encompass all of our functional areas. Just a quick agenda. We are going to, just I'm going to give a quick overview on Workspaces in general, talk about delivered workspaces, edited or custom workspaces, and then kind of the administration around this. So just as an overview, in this session, we're going to touch upon setup options, different types of workspaces for the Infor OS portal, for both FSM and HRT. So this is a delivered feature with OS Portal. There are a library of workspaces and widgets. It is configurable. As you're going to see, it's a lot of being able to manage by exception. So the information that the user needs at their fingertips, and things that are running great, we don't need to really concentrate on those as much. So it is looking at the things that we need to touch and interact with as part of our job when we go through this. We can add images, we can add announcements, external links, analytics, etc. from Burst. There have been some major updates that were delivered to the workspaces in October of 2023, in April of 2024, and there are more coming in October of 24. So really, the idea behind Workspaces is that people work from these workspaces. So what do I mean by that? Primarily, if you have a role, a security role, or your function within an organization is maybe a buyer, for example. This is a buyer homepage. So this homepage has a lot of information on it. And if you're using this, or if you're using kind of the consolidated purchasing view, this is great. These are wonderful. I love this part of the application. I think the widgets that are available, the information that's available is all wonderful, but it's only part of the job that someone has to do. So really, when I say working from these workspaces, it is not only this information that we're looking at, but it's Maybe we need to be looking at our something to do with an EDI dashboard that's outside of our system. You've got maybe contracts that are through your GPO that are outside of the system. Maybe you have other, types of analytics or links that you need to get to, or information from other interfaced systems. These workspaces give you that opportunity. And honestly, I don't think people are really utilizing these workspaces as much as they can. So part of my goal today is to get you excited about workspaces. And I'm going to go through and show you kind of why I think that it's a great feature that is available to everyone with OS. So the delivered workspaces. This is, in all honesty, I stole this screenshot from one of the other webinars that was given by Infor. I thought it was a great slide that gives a lot of good information about what workspaces are available now. So this is not a complete catalog of all of the workspaces. These are the ones that have been updated. So they're going to have the My Day. They're going to have the important links and things like that. So these are the ones that have been updated or kind of reimagined. And like I said earlier, there are more that are going to be coming out in October. So these are the ones that have been updated and are kind of persona driven, if everybody's familiar with that term. So out of the box, just as an example, this would be a buyer workspace, and this workspace has got some great things on it. Things that are on your radar that are interactive, important links that are there, quick actions that are there. And this, it's great information related to a specific role of obviously the buyer. But from just using a little bit of effort by copying this, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. By copying that delivered workspace, you can add some things to customize it for your particular needs. It really does not take much effort, and I'm going to walk you through what that looks like. So this is another one, a workspace for an inventory manager. I took the out of the box delivered workspace and just tweaked it a little bit to give me what I needed, because I wanted to look at a buyer exceptions or open to receive past delivery dates. So there are opportunities to copy a delivered workspace and kind of make it your own. Workspaces, to be able to add those, very easy. We go up to the navigation menu, which is the 9 dots at the top that I think looks like a Rubik's Cube. And from there, the first thing that we see is workspaces. And the workspaces can be, and I'll show you that in a little bit when we look at kind of the administration of it, but the workspaces can be kind of assigned to you, or they can be, you can add a workspace to your list. So you can change and add to this workspace kind of catalog that you have for you by going to that navigation menu and then clicking on add a workspace. So you have a couple of options. You can add a workspace from the workspace catalog. So it could be workspaces that are out of the box provided by Infor, or it could be workspaces that someone else has created and published. Now, and I will touch upon this in a little bit, but keep in mind that if I am in accounts payable and I add the buyer workspace, I don't have the security to use all of the links and things like that. So don't think that just because somebody has the ability to add a workspace that it's going to get them into trouble from a security standpoint, because they would need the security that goes along with that role. So once we've said we're going to add a workspace, This is a representation of what the workspace catalog would look like. So you've got categories. You can look at all of them. You can look at only new and updated. You can look at all under types or published or standard. And once we have chosen what we want to add, it's as simple as clicking on the plus sign. So you can, if you've got one workspace that you need, great, you go in there, you find that. You can even use the search up here and type in what you're looking for, and kind of narrow down your choices from there. But you can add multiple workspaces. So if you click the plus and then you can search again for something else and kind of keep adding as many workspaces as you need. People might have one workspace. They might have a handful of workspaces. It just depends on how your company chooses to embrace workspaces. So once you've added a new workspace, it's going to go down to the bottom of your list of workspaces. And in this case, obviously, I've got 5 workspaces that are here. I can move the workspaces in this list. So if I wanted purchasing manager at the top, or I wanted it under requester, I want to see requester first. You can move those so that when you log into Infor, you're met with a specific workspace. So maybe I want the purchasing manager at the top. So when I log in, that's what I see. Now you can always move between those workspaces, but it's really setting which one you want to see when you log into the system. We've just added one, so let's talk a little bit about deleting workspaces. So I've added the purchasing manager workspace, and I realized that it's not what I thought it was going to be, or it's not what I need, or I don't have access to the security behind it. So when you go into the workspaces, that list, you can click on the 3 dots here, or the ellipse, and you can delete a workspace from your list. And there's 2 different options that you can get when you delete a workspace. It can be that it says, so there's 2 different confirmations you can get, and you need to pay attention to these confirmations. Don't just click through them. So the first one is that, are you sure you want to delete the workspace of purchasing manager? That workspace will still be available in the catalog. So that means if you delete this, it's just going to delete it from your list. The other thing you might get, if this is maybe you've copied the purchasing manager workspace, or you've created your own workspace and you have not published it, if you delete that workspace, it is truly gone. So before you delete, just make sure that you, if you want to keep it, that and you just don't want it on your list for some reason, that you publish it before you delete it. So that's just something that you need to keep in mind. Talking about editing or creating custom workspaces. So, again, great slide from an Infor presentation that was done. These next 2, modifying an existing workspace. So just if you think about it, it's similar to like security roles. We are not going to modify what has been provided by Infor, that initial workspace. We're going to make a copy of it. So if you're taking let's say the accounts payable, payables manager workspace, and you want to make some changes to it, that's great. But we're going to copy that workspace, and we can rename it. We can name it whatever we want to. But we're going to copy it first, and then we can make changes to it. So we've got all kinds of possibilities. If you want to create a brand new workspace, one that is you want to create something that's your own. Maybe it's a user that has multiple security roles and they only want a single workspace to work from. So maybe they do maybe they do contracting and they do strategic sourcing, and they might happen to be a buyer. Maybe they want all of the possibilities or everything that they need in one workspace. Obviously, you could have multiples, but if they want maybe just a single one, you can absolutely create a brand new workspace by choosing this new workspace. And when you select continue, you have the option of choosing your naming your workspace and then choosing the foundation. Is it going to be based off of an application? So this list of applications, or is it going to be widget based? In all honesty, I have, all of the ones that I do are widget based, but the application based ones are available. You would choose what your starting foundation application is, select your icon for your workspace, and continue, and it would give you that application as your basis. This is the more popular, in my opinion, is adding it from widgets. So we're going to name our workspace. We're going to choose widgets, choose our icon for the workspace, and click create. That's going to give us really a blank slate because we didn't copy an existing workspace. We're creating a brand new one from nothing. And it's giving us the ability to add a banner widget or just add widgets. So if we just click on add widgets, now we're in, instead of the workspace catalog, now we're in the widget catalog. And from the widget catalog, we can choose, again, if we're looking at business intelligence widgets, social widgets, utility widgets, all different kinds. So again, new and updated is the default, and you can absolutely scroll through those. You can use the search. If I want to add the My Day widget and I know that's what the name of it is, I can search that and click the plus. I can keep clicking and adding widgets until I have everything that I need, or that at least I think I need. And as soon as I come out of that, then I have this new updated, new page that I've just added these widgets to us. So I've got the My Day here. I've added notes. I've got a cloud status. I've got, I want to add an image, but I added the widget, then I'll configure it. I've got important links to concierge and In4U and things like that. So I've created this kind of a draft of a page, and I can still make changes. If I use the X, I can remove widgets that I just added. So if I have created this and I decide I really don't want something, it truly is as easy as just clicking the X, and I've now removed that from my page. So like I said, you can add additional widgets here still, or you can save this. As soon as you save it, you now get this pencil up in the upper right-hand corner. And the upper right-hand, this pencil means that now you've created this workspace and you can continue to edit it. So you're not going to get this pencil on the just out of the box Infor provided pages, because if you want to make a change, like I said, probably 1,000 times now, you're going to have to make a copy of it in order to change that. Super easy to do, but that's kind of the difference. So when you've got this pencil up in the corner, you can still edit this and make as many changes as you want to it. So this right now is my my workspace. No one else can see my workspace because I haven't published my workspace. So if it's something that you want to share, remember that you're going to have to publish your workspace if you want other people to be able to, add that in as well. We also can, make some modifications. So this workspace, we've got this My Day piece here. And in order to add an image if you want to have your picture there, so it's welcoming you into the system every time you log in. Under the user menu, which is by clicking on your name, under user settings, you can go and you can update or add a photo if you want to. Under display options, you have the ability to change your display from a light to a dark UI if you want to. Maybe you have a vision issue, or you just prefer the dark UI versus the light. So you could make some changes like that for your workspaces. So these next few, I do quite a few demos, and these next few slides are just workspaces that were created, but just kind of showing you some options about what you have here. And so this is for a clinician, and the menu is something that when you're creating a workspace that's, is your own, this menu can be really helpful. So you can color code it so things that are related to each other can be grouped together. So this could be a really long list with a scroll bar on the side, but it's showing that we've got requisition type things here, and then we've got search catalog, item return, and request new item location. This is completely configurable. You can have whatever kind of links that you need to. And as soon as you click on one of the links, it takes you into the application to, contract costs or my requisition type thing. So this is, like I said, an example of something for a clinician, same type of thing for a warehouse manager. So this is just a representation. It's actually a really long workspace. You can see the scroll bar here. And just another example, this was in an IT support workspace that has Ion API health and messages by connection, work units by statuses. So lots of different ways that you can use workspaces so that really truly every user can have this workspace as an introduction into the system. Obviously, as well, you can use announcements, and so this is an example of a workspace where you can have an example. You can even have multiple examples of or multiple announcements, and they are on this kind of scroll where if you want, every user to know that there's open enrollment or something great that's happening, you can do that. And I'll show you announcements in just a minute. So this is, what I was talking about earlier with the editing pencil. If it's there or not, that editing, if it's not there, this is a buyer workspace out of the box. We can't edit it. In order to make those modifications that I was talking about, we would go to that workspace, click on the three dots or the ellipse there, and we're going to say duplicate. And then that gives us a copy of that workspace and now a pencil where we can make modifications. So once you've made that copy, you can rename it. You could change this icon that's over here. You can publish it, that kind of thing. So those are all things to keep in mind if you're wanting to make those copies or those changes. It's very easy to do, very user-friendly. So there are some requirements around workspaces, just, some required products, user roles. Everybody's going to need the portal user role. If you're going to be making, changes and things like that, we need the portal content administrator role as well. The workspaces are fed by the replication sets. So if you maybe get an error on a workspace that says that there's no data to present, or you get an error that basically there's no connection, there's no data there, you can check with your IT staff and ask them to help look at the database replications. So this is, not meant to be necessarily a highly technical webinar today, but the workspaces, this is a representation of the workspace, the replication set, and then the modules and the business classes that are related. So maybe if you're having problems with the purchasing manager workspace, you're going to want to make sure that the FSM columnar PO underscore ST and the FSM PO underscore ST, those replication sets are working. So there are some security things, as I mentioned earlier. This is just a supply chain example, but there's also information out there for finance and HRT as well. So just, inventory manager, there are security roles that go along with these. So if somebody adds themselves or adds like I said, a buyer workspace, they need the buyer underscore ST to go with that, or it's not gonna give them the information that they need. Okay, a little bit more. So you may or may not have access, depends on what your role is within your organization, but under the navigation menu and under applications and OS, we can maintain some settings. So under those settings, under general settings, you can decide some things like, this is what presents is, what application workspace, or what the first application workspace in the navigation menu, the home button, things like that, your profile photo and name. But if you scroll down to navigation menu appearance, you can also set the default order. So do you want workspaces represented first, or do you want bookmarks or applications? What's the max number of user workspaces that you can have? Maybe you don't want people to be able to add up to 20. Maybe you only want this to be 5, or there's maybe some reason that you want this to be to higher than 20, but I can't think of a good reason why anyone would need more than 20. And then are we going to enable standard workspaces? Are you going to enable private workspaces and enable like the workspace catalog? So this is what's provided out of the box. I think they're pretty good settings. I can't think of a great reason to change them, but you absolutely can if you need to. And then we have default workspaces, required workspaces. And you can, edit those settings or add exceptions to those as well. So I talked just a really brief minute on announcements. And like I said, you could have multiple announcements running at a time. And you have a beginning and an end date. If there's going to be any kind of reoccurrence, when it was modified, who can view it. And the setup of that is, the example that I have here is that somebody has a training that is due. And so this could be assigned to someone for training that's connected to their user. So under workspaces, we also have, if we're still under this OS portal, we have a list of the published workspaces, the standard workspaces, and we can also import and export workspaces. So if you want to develop a workspace in a test environment and then export it and import it then into prod, you can absolutely do that. So there are import, export type things that you can do. Infor has done some really great webinars on workspaces. So here's a couple of links to KB articles if you'd like to go out and look at some additional information. There's some great guides out there on, replication set administration if you need to look at that. Role-based web workspace deployment guide. So out there under the Infor documentation library, excuse me, there are some great references that are available. That completes the webinar for today. If you have any questions, you can reach out to this email address.